Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. Deku, things have not been easy for him over the last year. He was over 17 years old, and he was isolated. He's been doing quite a lot. When we last saw him, he had the Mark III. But Deku, if I remember correctly, was working on the Mark VII. And that says quite a bit. Deku has made advancements in tech. He's made improvements. However, that's all he's ever really been doing with his time. He's been waiting for threats to pop up, but they never do. He goes out and flies around, but I mean, everyone else can handle it. Right now, the world could do with a few less superheroes. And that's where Deku, he was mad. He wanted to be Iron Man. Iron Man has a life to live. He's needed by the people. But now he isn't. In Izuku, he has no one left in his life. Riri Williams, she was gone. Inko Hisashi Midoriya, those two were gone. Iron Man, he's got War Machine. And Deku, he finally revealed his identity to Rhodey. And Rhodey, he was quite happy to finally speak to Izuku Midoriya. And Deku, he even went to go see Reed Richards first. Reed kept his secret. And he even asked him for directions to Attilan. Now, Deku spent the next week building a suit and getting things prepared. And Izuku, he was quite intrigued with what he found on the moon. Since Iron Man showing up here and seeking refuge was definitely not in the cards they dealt, or they were dealt. It's not something that they saw as a possibility. There are many Inhumans that are now a part of their family. However, with everything happening, yeah, things are still a bit more out of whack. And that was running through Medusa's mind. Deku, he gave up his armor, and he was taken to a holding cell where every Inhuman, they were quite speculative, wondering what this man is here for. Making that claim is easy. Trying to verify it, trying to back it up, that's the hard part. And there actually was the Genetic Council. What remained of it, they took samples of Izuku's blood. They tested him, and certain people, they were quite intrigued with what they might find. And Deku, whenever he was found to actually be inhuman, this raised multiple questions. Now, Deku, he was questioned about a lot of things. And the council, they were also running a few other tests that might be needed. And they're actually Izuku. Right now, he does sit there, him in a fresh change of clothes, and standing there. It feels familiar. He's almost in another room, like back in S.H.I.E.L.D., aboard a helicarrier. Deku gonna turn and bring his hand up. Right now, the council going to watch on, as Deku, he has a stare at the machine in front of him. Everyone going to see right now Deku bring his hand up and show exactly how much his power has been improving. Izuku, he always thought the limit of his power was talking to tech. However, that was just the beginning. With Friday in his head, she informed him to many things, told him about many things, and she even picked up on a few readings of Izuku. His brain isn't just connected to machines. He can control them. He can speak to them. And certain ones, he can definitely bend to his own whim. Now, Deku, he has a stare up at the complex machine in front of him. Him going to pull it apart. And this council does a little watch on. Currently them watching the machine rip apart into different pieces. And Izuku, he has a step forwards. Him going to stare at it and think about its design. Him then going to move parts around and flip everything back together. Everyone gonna watch on. And Deku, he does a turn. Him staring at somebody as he's gonna walk over. Him going to get into the vehicle he created out of these parts. And he doesn't talk about it. It might be a bit crude, but it does still work. Him going to actually bring his hand up and turn it on. It being to move around the room. And Deku, he does actually go to do one thing. He goes to focus a bit more. Currently the tech being pulled apart as Deku, he is flying up into the air. It going to change into another machine. As Deku, he does start to hover there. Now, the machine does not stop. It floating in the air as it does then go to get set down. And Izuku, he does go to stand back up. And want to turn and stare at the members of the council. And Medusa, she just sit there. Her with a tuning fork on a necklace. And right now, she would go to inform him of a few things. He is inhuman. However, fact of the matter is, he never came forward. Why exactly is that? Whenever he discovered these abilities, he must have been intrigued. Was he not afraid of himself? Medusa, correct? That is Queen Medusa. However, you may refer to me as such. If I'm to say, when I discovered these abilities, I was 15. Yes, they were strange, weird. However, I didn't think that they would raise such concern. It was only until after a few things happened that I understood them, gained a better handle on them. Listen, the electromagnetism is a side effect of my powers. However, studying your own species, I've seen a lot. You mean our species? Sorry, I never thought of myself as an inhuman. Yes, I felt a little different, but more comfortable in my own skin. That was all. There was never really a change. I mean, my world opened up, that was all. I see. Quite intriguing. Well then. Welcome to New Attilan. There is much you must learn. Now, the members of the council do get a turn, and inform Izuku. Right now them going to actually have a member send something flying down. It's going to float down as Deku, he does stare at a piece of technology. It being set down in his hand as he look down at it. Him seeing a few things. And the person, whenever Deku does a look up at them, he does could simply just nod. Understanding that Deku already went through the packet. Now, Deku, he does stare down at this little device. It's a holographic projector, but it's also like a book. Oh man, if this is the type of tech they have here. That going through Deku's mind. And Deku, he does go look up. Him asking Medusa if he may have his technology back. You are a member of this city now. I do not see why you want it. It's my armor. I don't expect you to understand. It's like a part of me. I see. The request can be made. Quite simple, in fact. However, your tech will be kept intact, I assume? Yeah. I won't go crazy with it. I mean, I assume I can just make more, if need be. Quite possible. Though, we can have something arranged. If you can help us expand our territory, then it will be quite good. For right now, though, you will be housed with someone. Now, a member of the council's a turn, giving Medusa a bit of a side eye, since she was quite adamant about the decision. And this does mean quite a few things. Deku, his genetics, they're good. And with him coming into the fold, it does expand their repertoire for, well, let's just say genetic development. Since the Inhumans' isolation, it did hurt many things. But with the new Inhumans, they can solve that crisis. Though it might take a few generations to undo some of those problems. However, also limiting genetic damage will be helpful. Izuku, he does actually start to make his way through the city, and it's quite intriguing. There's tons and tons of people here, and right now Deku, he does feel a bit overwhelmed. However, many of them are happy to greet him. Many are, though, speaking a strange language. And Izuku, he does think about it himself. If the Inhumans, they were, are, have been around for millennia, isolation, then that must also mean they developed their own language? Or maybe whatever language they spoke at the time changed with the time? So it's got to be some variation of some Earth language, right? Though, I mean, it does pose a question. I mean, he's heard some people speak English, Chinese, Russian, and, well, he thinks he heard an accent he recognized, but it's in a foreign dialect. He knows he's heard that before, but from where? Not on his mind. And Deku, he's got a lot going through his head. And right now, Deku, he's gonna walk up to an apartment building. Him going inside, as some people do to greet him. Deku watching somebody fly right past him, as he does still somewhat stare at that, since it's a bit odd. I'm gonna turn back and walk up to a door. He wants to look over a lot, maybe learn this language he's heard many people speak. It would be good, right? A way to be a bit more in touch with himself, his people. It would be nice. And Deku, he does try to compose himself. He's new to this place. On Earth, his whole life, he was smart. He was isolated, alone. Sasha helped him outgrow that part of himself, and then becoming an inhuman, feeling more comfortable in his own skin, more confident, more outgoing. It's a bit weird. Funny, he did feel a little bit stronger whenever he came out of that stupid concrete, though it could just be his imagination. Or maybe it could just also be the fact that his mind is actually working better. Your mind may have allowed you to override certain physical limitations, Izuku. That going through his mind. It would make sense. Some Inhumans gain multiple abilities. And at first he thought his could only allow him to talk to tech. Though the small electrical components, it must help too. And then it took his mind. And currently Izuku, he has to walk into an apartment. Him looking around and going to actually set down his bag. As right now, Deku, he does go to walk around and check a few things. The place does have some food, so that's good. Though what is that? Deku's staring at a blue fruit. That's on the counter. It's not something he's seen before. Okay, well, maybe you just sit down and read. That would be good. Right. That'd be nice. Deku gonna walk over, walking into the bedroom and going to sit down on the bed. Him bringing his hand up and holding up the piece of inhuman tech. And Deku, he does go to blink and as it to turn on. It currently gonna pop up as Deku. He does have to go through a bit of information. This place is gonna be his home. It's gonna be weird, but also intriguing. Learning about the history of these people, reading literature, discovering more, trying to fit in, have a home to come back to. But he can leave at any time. Go home. Actually, go home. Get mom and dad. Bring them here. Tell them he's inhuman. Talk to them again. I mean, it's just on his mind. Let them be involved. Even if they're gone. I mean, he'll know that he talked to them, but they're still watching. They'd definitely be proud of him. He took a big step and God damn it, Izuku. You're getting a bit emotional. Don't get worked up. That on Deku's mind. And currently Deku, he has a stare on. Him reading some of the information and trying to take things in. This time at a bit slower of a pace. Now, there actually is or somebody they do to actually stretch. Them a bit happy, as right now Deku, he is unaware of one simple thing. And all of this, he wasn't paying attention. He was more worried about exploring the city, learning the language, seeing the sights, and helping expand their territory. That Deku, he didn't realize the shower was on. And currently, a girl does come walking out of the bathroom. Deku going to look up and turn his head. As the person, they're drying their hair. Her going to actually bring her hands up and lower the towel. Her seeing Izuku and turning her head before going to bring her hand up. Her immediately trying to yell at Izuku as Deku does turn his head, hearing that strange language. Now, Deku, he just does got to bring his hands up. Him turning his head confused and asking them, if they happen to speak English. I do. What are you doing in my apartment? Your apartment? Uh, this is number 36, right? Yes, it is. However, what are you doing here? Listen, I'm new to the city. I didn't mean it. I didn't know you. Wait. I don't get it. This is my place, but it's yours? Oh, god damn it. Her gonna tell Izuku, out of her bedroom, now. Deku gonna jump up. Him gonna walk away as the girls will put the flames out of her hand. And currently she's gonna do one thing. She does go to put some clothes on. And Deku, he does still stand outside the room. Him bringing his hand down and grabbing his bag. Since he might need his gloves and boots, so it may definitely be a bit of a problem. That ran through his mind. And currently Crystal does come walking out. Her, right now with her hair tied back and still a little wet, as she's at least to wear a tank top and some shorts. Her asking him exactly if he was given this room by the council. Uh, yeah, no. Sorry. They just assigned me here. Her gonna turn. Her bring her hand up as she's gonna walk over and grab something off the counter. Her going to tap down the button and see the mail she should have read earlier. It was from her sister, but at the same time, it was a bit more of a heads up. The council are going to be having him stay with her for some time. And that, it's definitely not good. Because there are a whole list of reasons why. And that, it means quite a bit to them. Yes, they have lifted certain restrictions, but they are still enforcing many. And Crystal does a turn. Her telling Izuku a few things, trying to lay out some rules and talk to him. However, Deku, he does just go sit there. Him still reading through some information. I actually start to ask him exactly when he got here. About 5 days ago. They've kept me holed up in a cell. Listen, Crystal, was it? Correct. I don't mean to bother you. I mean, I can head somewhere else if I need to, right? Get my own place? You are new here. No, you can't. Fact of the matter is, you are sort of stuck with me. Though, I can't understand why. Never mind. Listen, if you're gonna be stuck here, there's gonna be rules. Got it? Got it. Trust me, I get it. Though, if you don't mind me asking, what? I've seen some of the stuff here. I've got a few questions. Some stuff I want to ask you? Sure. What do you want to know? Now, Deku and her do to sit down, and it's definitely kind of intriguing. At first, Crystal sees Deku ask basic questions, but then he tries to ask about the history of their people. It's kind of intriguing to see it. Though Deku, he also should have pointed out certain things and ask other questions, since this is a bit weird to him. Now, Crystal, she's a bit more annoyed. However, she quickly does start to lighten up a bit. Especially because Izuku, he's actually asking very good questions. Nice ones? It's a bit more to think about, but maybe she should touch up on her history too. It's currently running through her mind. Crystal, she definitely is quite happy to talk to Izuku. I mean, yeah, her kind of walking out to the bathroom and seeing him sitting in her bed was not a good start, but I mean, she did forget to check a few things, so there is that. Maybe though. No, no. Yeah, of course the council would do this. Though things have been different since her cousin's been gone. Her just thinking. And Deku, he does see her face somewhat drop a bit. Oh, did I say something wrong? No, no, it's just things have been complicated. How so? As far as I understand, complicated as in the history of the Inhumans, or complicated in the way of this place is weird complicated. Weirder, I guess. Huh. No, it's not that. Listen, it's. Things have not been easy for people. Me especially. Nor for my sister. We all lost people. Oh. Yeah, no, I understand. Lose someone too? I don't really have a life to go back to on Earth. That sucks. But I get the feeling. I'm not really too sure what to do myself. I go through training and just handle that. do things that way. Try and make sure I can always brush up on and be prepared. You know? Though, what are your powers? Oh, my bad. I, uh, I can control tech. That's it? I mean, sort of, but I mean I can actually control tech. Like if I wanted to. Deku turning and bringing his hand up, expressing to her that he can connect to the servers inside the city. He can connect to the internet and look through tons of information. It might take him a second to understand what he's looking at, but it definitely would be intriguing. Though, he could also make a suit of armor out of probably a bunch of stuff in the city block. A suit of armor? Yeah, yeah. I, I don't want to talk about it. Sure. Though, a suit of armor, you fight? Sometimes, yeah. I mainly try to protect, but I've gotten in the occasional fight or two. So what do you know? Any disciplines? Not really. I usually just fire missiles or blast people away with repulsors. Repulsors? Now, Deku, he does it to bring his hand up. Right on his bag, going to actually fly over towards him, as Deku, he does it to catch it. Him bringing his hand down and pulling out the gauntlet, or at least the, well, glove for his suit. And Crystal does a stare at that. We're not going to watch it power on and glow. And Deku, he talks about it. Without the actual reactor, he can't really do much here. Though, he's pretty sure he'd still crush a piece of the wall. You're Iron Man, aren't you? You've heard about me. I've seen a lot of Earth's escapades. We all have. It's been in the news. Though, if I remember correctly, weren't you bigger? Or at least had a different color scheme? Oh, no, well, yeah, I guess. I changed the paint job. Though this suit's also not really a good display of my best abilities. Deku bringing his hand up and pulling off of the glove. I'm going to tell her. It's still a bit strange and weird, but he still needs to get accustomed to a lot. Maybe, maybe actually learn how to fight. I mean, he got his ass handed to him a few times, but he got back up. Good job. I didn't really need a compliment, but thanks. Trust me, you look like you could use it. Although, you're sleeping on the couch tonight. Her gonna turn and stand up, expressing to him. If he does want more information, then connect to the archives, if he knows where they are. Though, she could also just lend him her computer, if that is their word for, well, their internet access. Yeah. English isn't your first language, is it? No, it is not. Though I have learned it to communicate better with your species, especially so that we are learning more. Not bad. I did not need a compliment. Touche. Listen, sorry for the whole thing earlier. You're fine. Though, if you do want to actually get to know people, come with me tomorrow. Or maybe next week. And I can introduce you to a few others. They would be quite intrigued to see how you operate. Now, Crystal's a turn. Her gonna walk back into her bedroom. And Deku, he does have a few things on his mind. He wants to look over a lot more information. find out more on this city. I mean, being locked up and not having much to do, it wasn't too fun. There was the test they performed on him, though even then it wasn't too different from S.H.I.E.L.D. So there definitely is that. It ran through Deku's mind. Maybe head back down to Earth, get some of his own stuff, bring it actually back up here. And yeah, maybe. That is an idea. It going through his head. Him, currently, gonna turn and lay down, as he has to read through the data packet through his own eyes. Him, a bit more intrigued to embrace this side of himself. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.